welcome to my channel. I'm Dawn the Reclusive Crafter. Thank you very much for joining me today. I am still working on the steampunk journal. I mentioned in my last video that I wanted to do some hidden paper clips, and the format I'm using is one of Amanda's from Scrimping Mummies. If you have seen any of her videos and seen her hidden paper clip, she designed this one, which I think is lovely. It allows for a little pocket. Let me see if I've got something. It allows for a little pocket that goes there on the front of it, and then there's also a lovely little pocket on the back as well. So I wanted to do something similar to be able to use up some of the little mini pages that I've got. Now, obviously, as you can see, the little mini pages are too big for that particular design. So I have spent a little bit of time today readjusting it, and I think I've succeeded, although it does make it quite a chunky little hidden paper clip. I think it actually works really nicely. So I've produced this, and it's got a little pocket on the front here with bits in. I'll show you this all properly at the end of the video. The paper clip itself, I'll show you, it goes over the page like so. If I can just clip that in there. So it goes over the page like that. So you've got the front and the back. So you've got the two sides. And then on the back, I've just popped in another couple of little labels in there and decorated the back. So I want to produce another one because, as I keep saying, it's a two signature journal that I'm making, and I'd like to mirror image them. So I'm going to make a similar one to this one, but for the second signature. Now, I've already gone ahead and cut out the basics and planned in my head how it's going to be decorated, because literally it has taken me all morning to do this. It's 2:30 in the afternoon now, and I started this at, I think it was about 10:30, 11 o'clock-ish I started it. And once I'd sort of worked out sizing and everything else, and then decided how I was going to embellish it, it's led me to now. So it did take me quite a little while to work it all out, but I have worked it out, and I've now got all the measurements. So I'm going to share that with you, so that if you want to craft along, or if you want to go away and do it off your own back, I'm just showing you how you can alter whatever you see on YouTube, or whatever instructions people give you on YouTube. You can alter them for your own designs. So if I just give you the example, Amanda's original paper clip is 2.5 inches wide. Mine end up being 3 3/8 of an inch wide, so there's quite a substantial difference there. So Amanda's would come to about there, and then I've got almost another inch on top of that, so it's quite a wide one, but I do think it works really well for the purposes of the embellishing that I've done with it. So just that you've got the measurements, if you do decide to do 16 to a page, this is kind of the sizing that you will need. So you will need your base one at 6.5 inches, and the width will be 3 3/8. And then I've done the top part of this as 6.25 inches, and the width is 3 inches wide. So those are my measurements for my particular hidden paper clip. It's not going to be exactly a scale up to Amanda's, because I have done the measurements slightly differently. And I've also, to be able to do the scoring on here, because they do need to be scored, rather than do it at set increments, what I did do to be able to ensure that I had the right size, I took one of the pieces that I'm going to be embellishing, and I just laid it over the top to work out where I wanted the first score. Okay, and that I've done it over both pieces, all right, and that's where I'm going to be scoring. So it worked on the first one. I'm hoping it works on this one as well. Let me just get this into view for you so that you can see. And excuse my stretch, I'm going to score this out now where I've marked it. And all being well, it will hopefully work. And this one won't take me as long as the first one did. Because the first one was a little bit of a headache to work it all out, especially when you're not used to designing things yourself. You know, if you just go along with what you see other people doing, it can be quite difficult to work out how to get it how you want it looking. So yeah, this is just really just to show you that you can alter things for your own designs. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly the same as what you've seen. So those are my 2 base pieces done. Almost anyway. I still need to score the bottom, but I'll show you how I did that on my other one. So that will now slip over the top like that. And on this particular one, I have also allowed slightly more across the edge. On my first one, I don't know if you can see, there's probably only about 1/8 of an inch either side there. On this one, I have just allowed just a fraction wider on there. So I have had to trim that down literally by a skim to make sure that it fit okay. Now I've got my paper clip ready. So I'm going to pop my paper clip in the center there. And like I say, this one's my base. So on this one, I had the red on the bottom and then the black went over the top. On this one, I've got the black on the bottom and I'm putting the red over the top. I just want to just make each thing that I do for this journal very slightly different to the other one. And then this one literally goes in there, and then that, it is a little bit fiddly, I'm not going to lie. Once you put the paper clip on, it does make it a little bit fiddly to make sure you get it lined up square, and it does need to be square ideally. There is an element of wiggle room on it. There we go, I think that's about there. That'll do nicely. So the first thing I'm going to do is just glue this top piece down, and I didn't take my glue top off, so I'm probably going to have to redo that bit. Let me just do that bit again, because I'm an idiot. Okay, let me get this into position. Are we there? Almost. Okay, I think that's probably about where it needs to be. There is a little bit of wiggle room on it once it's down. I'm using the Fabri-Tac glue just to give me that wiggle room that I'm going to need. And I thought I had some glue left in here I could possibly not have. Oh, there we go. So, and again, I'm not taking the glue all the way to the edges because I want to maintain that edge. And once you get this first bit into place, it does make it easier for the other pieces, I have to be honest. Now then, let's have a little bit of a wiggly diggly and get this into position, wherever it is that you want it. I think about there. If I just use my ruler, just pull that down into position, and then I want to make sure it's pretty square. If I can pull that out of there. And then squeeze that all down so it's good and firm. I'm just going to wipe that excess glue off. Lovely. Okay, so that is the first bit. Pretty much square as I want it. Okay, so that's the first bit down. Okay, I am going to just move my board out of the way now because I'm going to fold the other bit up by hand. I found that easier than trying to score it, to be perfectly honest. Okay, and now I want to glue this one in. Not sure I've got enough glue in here actually. Let me just use this one. I think there's more glue in this one. She says, squeezing away. I'm trying to use up the last of these so that I can... How far down does that need to go? Might be better actually if I put the glue on this side. And you just want to make sure that you've got plenty of glue around the paper clip itself. Okay. There we go. I think there's probably enough on there. Now then. And again, just take your time. When you're using this glue, you do have the wiggle room just to be able to take your time to get things lined up. Okay. So I'm happy with that. And now this piece just folds up and slips underneath. And you can take it as high as you want to. I'm probably going to take it to about there, I think. Okay, let me just have a look. Yeah, I'm happy with that, I believe. Yeah, happy with that. So the first thing I'm going to do before I glue that into place is just burnish that down, because we've got two thicknesses of card there, and I have used cardstock on this. The cardstock I've used is 200 GSM. Apologies, I have no idea what that equates to in pounds, if that's how you work. Am I going to get any more out of this, or do I need to resort to my art glitter glue? Might just get enough just to pop that down. Okay, and now I'm going to pop that in there and give that a good old burnish. Give it a good squeeze. But what I also want to do is just make sure I clean the glue out before. There we go. Right then. Now then, if you are using distress inks around the edges of your designs, I should have mentioned, and I forgot, and I'm sorry, it's best to ink these before you get to the stage of putting them together. I forgot to do it on my first one, and I've just forgot to do it on this one as well. So I'm just going to very quickly go around the edges just to take off that white core. And just go around the edges there, around the edges there. There we go. Okay, I think we've got away with it. So that is pretty much the paper clip made, and now all you need to do basically is embellish it with whatever you want to embellish it with. I'm going to pop the glue top back on there. I think my Fabri-Tacs are just about out of... Oh, I've still got some in there. I don't know why it's so difficult to come out. Right then, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to embellish it. So I've picked out the bits and pieces I want to embellish it with. So on my first one, I used this gentleman and this lady. Because this is going to be in the second one, I wanted to use the two different ones. So I've pulled this guy out here. And what I also want to do is, you may recall I made these little photo slides, and I want to use these on here as well. Now on this one I used the man on the front. However, and the however is, with where I've got that positioned, I'm not sure. Oh, that might work actually. I might just have to bring her over. I don't want to cover up too much of this design here. So I'm kind of juggling around. I think that's going to work. What I will do is I'm going to put the tab on. Just bear with me while I find my second tab, because I'm not sure. I threw it in a box and now I don't know what I've done with it. There it is. That's the one we want. Okay. So I'm going to put the tab on first, and then what that does is it gives me a little bit more height to play with on here, so that I can then position her up onto the tab, which just gives me a little bit more playroom with it, which is nice. Ah dear, I haven't said hello to anyone. Hi. I'd like to give a shout out to Margaret and Anne and Jenny, who are my regular viewers and are always putting little comments on, which is very nice of you. Thank you very much. And I will mention another few people in my next video too, but thank you all very... Oh, I've done it again. Look, I've forgotten to just do the core bits. Yeah, thank you ever so much for joining me and for commenting and making the whole thing worthwhile, which is lovely. Thank you all very kindly. And now I'm all gummed up. Right then, let's pop this on here. Oh dear, I'm all glued up now. I must remember to distress things before I start messing about with them. It does make life a lot easier. Okay, just push that down a little bit. Get that into place. That's about good there. Lovely. Okay, that's that one. And now I'm going to... Now then, I was going to put him on the front there. I'm just wondering how much that's going to take off of that design. If I... Oh, not terribly much. Okay. Let me... Oh, that's not too bad at all, actually. That works very nicely. Thank you very much. So I'm going to distress this. Yeah, did I mention this is Mish Mash Monday? I don't know if I did. I was too keen to get into me crafting. It's taken me literally all day to work all this out. And I thought, yay, I've got it now. Let's show them how to do it. Right then. I think actually I did corner this one on all four corners. And I had decided not to on this one, but actually I think I will. Oh dear me, that's not... You see, that's what happens when you don't watch what you're doing, peeps. Am I going to get that now? Well, I've made a cat's doodah of that, haven't I? Let me just trim that off there. You'd never know, would you? Oh dear. There we go. Okay, that'll work. There's a way around everything. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Right. Now I'm going to pop him on there. So I'm going to position him down, but it is going to be a pocket, so I'm only going to be gluing. And for some unknown reason, I very nearly said hoovering then. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. I'm going to pop that along there. I'm going to pop him down about there. Just make sure that sticks down okay. Okay, that's that one done. And then her, which way round did I decide to do it? I think I decided to go that way, didn't I? Yeah, because that way there I'm not, oh, do I want to come down there? No, that's not going to work at all. So I think if we go that way on, try and move her over. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So let me pop her down. And I am gluing these down. I did toy with the idea of making these into little tuck spots, but I decided that it was all getting a little bit too busy and that maybe wasn't such a good idea. But if you're that way inclined, you can absolutely do any embellishment as a little tuck spot. Okay, so I want his little hatty piece to go about there. So it just goes, I don't know if you can see, it's just fitting into that little notch there. And just want to turn that just slightly. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's nice. And then on the back, I just did this one as a square pocket to go about there. Let me pop a little bit of ink round. In actual fact, let me take my notch out first and then I won't need to redo that. So pop my thumb notch out and then we're going to just ink around this one. That's that one done. Lovely jubbly. And again, just pop in the glue on the three sides to make this into a pocket. And we're just popping that down about, I think probably about there will do fine. Just give that a little wipe around the edges, take off any excess glue. There we go, that's lovely, isn't it? Nice. Now then, I have pulled out some bits and pieces for these, so I'll put those on in a moment. Right then, so this one I'm probably going to go across, just working out the best way to position this one. We want to see the balloon. Do I want to trim that one off? I don't want to cover too much of her up. I think that works like that. So we will pop this one down as well. And again, for the same reasons, I'm gluing the whole thing down. I'm not making a little tuck spot out of it. although it absolutely lends itself to be perfectly honest. But like I say, I just felt that it was making it just a little bit too busy. About yeah, about there. Okay, and again, just taking off a little bit of excess glue there, but making sure that that's down properly. That's lovely. And as you can see, they are actually very different. So although they're same, they do actually look quite different. I still want to do a little bit of embellishing with cogs and things, but I'll get the main ones down first. So that's those. And now if I just pull out my little embellishment bits, I was wondering whether or not these butterflies might work on here, or whether they might just be a little bit too big. You see, I quite like that on there, although having said that, yeah, that's going to come down too low, I think. Is she? Yeah, she's going to cover up her face. I think that covers up too much of the design on that side. Let me see if it will work. Oh no, it won't work on there at all, will it? No. So butterflies are not going to work on that particular one, but that's fine. Let's have a look and see what we've got in the way of cogs. I don't like that one. It's too samey colour. I maybe just want a small one, I think. What have we got here? Let's have a look, see what we've got. That's quite a cute little one, isn't it? Could put that one just in the corner. Or maybe I want one slightly bigger in that corner there. I know you see why things take me so long. It's okay. I quite like that. And we can still see the balloon there. I'm going to go with that on this one. So I just put a couple of little dots of glue there. And we're going to tie that in about there, I reckon. Okay, and same on this one. Couple of little dots round. There we go. And do I want to bring that over just a little bit there? Okay. Yeah, happy with that. So I'm happy with the back. And I will, where's my little door back? There it is. I'll pop a little bit of ink around these. These little labels, I honestly cannot remember if these are Amanda's or not. Honestly, I don't think they are, so apologies for Amanda. I just had these in my stash, and I think they work really well on here, so I just decided to use them. But again, you know, when you're decorating, it is all about using what you've got and making things work. So I'm going to pop that one in there, and that one done. And then we're going to pop this one in here. There we go. So that's those two in. And then on the front, what I have done, I have cut this lady out of, let me show you. I have cut that lady out of, where's the centerpiece? Let me show you the centerpiece if I can get to it. There. So again, playing with the printer, I printed 2 to a page, which gave me these. And then all I did was I cut her into a little tag. Okay, so again, you can play with things however you want to, and I've just made a little tag out of her. So I'm going to ink around her. Just to give her a little bit of a frame. And because she fills basically the whole of the design there, I'm not going to do too much more embellishing on here. But what I am going to do, and I'll show you what I did on the other one. Okay, what I am, where's my lid gone? QE lid. Oops, there. Seriously, Dawn. Yeah, so what I did on here, this was a little cut-off piece from one of the other bits that I did, which I thought was lovely, just with the little clock on the edge there. And I just had a couple of little key die cuts, and I've just stuck them back to back to make a little tag pull there. So that's what I did with that one. And with her, I thought what would be nice is if we did a similar thing, but using cogs, because she's got her goggles on up there. I thought maybe we could do a similar thing and put some cogs up the top there to act as a pull. So that's my plan with her. So I'm just going to find a couple that are the same, but not too flimsy. And the reason I say that is because although I love that little key there, it is quite delicate. Although that's double-sided now, it is still quite delicate. So I'm going to use 2 little cogs the same, but have got a little bit more of a design to be able to stick together, which I think will work probably a little bit better, perhaps. Perhaps, maybe, who knows. Okay, so I'm going to throw those in there. I'm going to stick my first piece down. And I want to get it into position first. So, miles off, Dawn. Try that one again. Probably up a little bit, maybe about there. Yeah. Okay, and then this one, I'm going to glue the whole thing and just stick it onto the back of the other one. I do like these, but they are quite fiddly to work with. Okay, and if I can marry up the holes, that would be perfect. I think. Am I there on that? Glasses always help, don't they? Yes, they do. Okay. Now then, that's interesting. Because all those holes are lined up, but for some reason they don't look. Oh, where's my little dibby? Where's my little dipper gone? Ah, found it. Just gonna poke these holes Maybe the holes hadn't been poked out properly. Mayhaps. There we go. That's better. There. Okay. So now she will go that side and pop into there. Just encourage her to go in a little bit. I think I might need to trim her down just slightly actually. I just think she's a little bit too proud. I'm going to just take a slither off of the bottom of that. There we go. Let's see if she fits in there better now. Let me just re-ink that bottom bit. And now slot her in there. That's better. That's better. Happier with that now. So that's that one done. Okay, so those are the two little old hidden paper clips. That was the word I was looking for. Okay, so we now have two little hidden paper clips, virtually done exactly the same, but looking very different, I think you'll agree. So those are my paper clips ready for embellishing with. So I'm very happy with those. What I'd also like to show you is where we're at with I did the little folders. When did I do the little folders? Saturday I did these little folders. And after I'd closed the video down, I just decided to embellish them a little bit, and I've put some little cogs on the front there. You saw me do this bit down here, but then on the inside what I've done is I've embellished with a couple of little punch outs and a couple of little cogs, and I've put some little old faux letters and a little tag in there as well, and just pop them literally in there just to add a little of embellishment there. And the same with this one, just made those look a little bit older and a little bit scrunchy upped, and pop that one in there with a little tag, and that one in there, and I just felt that finished them off really nicely. I've kept back just as it is, so that's that one. And I decided with those that I would put them into these. So these are now going into these pockets here. And that is that particular page now complete. So I'm quite happy with that one now. So that one's done. And then this one, the other one was here. And then again, just added a couple of little cogs on there. That you saw me do on Saturday. And then again, I've punched out these. And in case you can't remember what these were when I did the inking of those pages, and it gave me, I wonder if I can find the bit that I've got left over here. So it gave me the map. All I did was I stuck the bit that I'd had left over from making that original pocket, which was this one, which I haven't done anything with yet. So when I made that original pocket, what I did was then cut out a couple of the little punches, put a cog on to give me another little tuck space, and these are from Amanda's extra vintage bits. Pop those in there with a couple of little letters again, just that I have in my stash, just to embellish with. So that's that one finished as well. So happy with that, and that one's going to finish that page by going in there. So they look lovely, don't they? I'm very pleased with them. They're nice. So that's those done, and that is as far as we have got for the moment. So the The paper clips, I'm toying with the idea of these, of putting maybe, I'm not really too sure to be fair. I think I might like to put that, yeah, I think that'll work quite nicely on there. The beauty of the paper clips is you can move them around. They don't need to stay where you put them basically. So if I change my mind later on, I can just come in and move that around. And as you can see, as a paper clip, that works really nicely. So that's that one in place. And then this little one, I don't want it too close to the other embellishments. I think this one might work nicely on there, perhaps. Let's have a look at that. And then what that does is it then gives me a scope to, there we go, that looks nice, doesn't it? It gives me scope to be able to utilise some of the little journal cards just to tuck in there, which are lovely, aren't they? Where's that one? And pop that one. That's not the right one for there. Where's the other one gone? Let me find the other one. I need to do another couple of little journal cards to be able to tuck into them. So this one I think will probably work. Yep. So that one can go under there. So that's that. So that's as far as we've got for now. So that's my Mish Mash Monday. I think my next video, which will be No Waste Wednesday, I'm going to start using up some little scraps. I have got these, again, part of Amanda's collections. I think this was her tea time challenge that she did for journal cards, and I want to see what I can do with these, so I might have a play with these and see how we get on with that. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for your time as usual, and I look forward to seeing you all and being with you all again on Wednesday, No Waste Wednesdays. Take care everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye.